Welcome to the channel, guys. My name is Marco McDonald. And before we do a deep dive into this topic, I think it's only important that we speak about who I am. Guys, first and foremost, I'm a husband. I've been with my partner for 16 years. I've had ups, I've had downs. I'm a brother. I'm a father of 2 beautiful kids. I'm a son. And one of the main reasons that I decided to start this channel is to bring some of my experiences to you in hopes that you can learn from my experiences, you can take away from it, you can even add to it. Because one thing I want to say, guys, before we jump in is that I'm here to learn, you're here to learn, and we're all here to have a better overall life experience. So now that's cleared up, let's jump into this topic. Famous sayings that are extremely toxic. We're going to go with probably the most famous worldwide, and that is happy wife, happy life. Guys, I don't think we understand how toxic that saying is in terms of having a successful relationship. Look, guys, in a relationship, right, both parties have needs, both parties has wants, both parties have ups, both parties has downs. And once you create a dynamic where only one side is being heard, only one side is important and the other side needs to suck up their emotions, you're creating an imbalance in your relationship. And then what ends up happening, guys, is that you create a dictatorship where only one person is getting their needs fulfilled. And then this is why sometimes you find many people end up stepping out, or many people end up finding that fulfillment elsewhere. Why? Because they can't talk to their partners. We need to stop this narrative that if men set boundaries, if men want to express themselves, it means that we are weak. It means that we are complainers, and that the only thing that we should do is provide for a woman and that's it. No, that's not true. That's not true. It's also your wife's duty to ensure that your needs are being met, just as it is your duty to ensure that her needs are being met. The only way a relationship can work, guys, is if both people feel like they are appreciated. The only way a relationship can work is that if both parties feel like their needs are being met by their partner. Once that goes out the window, guys, I'm telling you, you're going to start seeing pettiness. You're going to start seeing resentment. You're going to start seeing people, stepping out. And it's just not the way you want to go. So, guys, it is not happy wife, happy life. Your emotions, your well-being should not rely solely on the happiness of another person. Your happiness should also rely in you being in a situation where you are also loved, where you are also appreciated. So, guys, let's move on to the next one. Money doesn't buy happiness. I hear this time and time again. And this is one of those sayings that is not completely false, but it's very misleading. Because a lot of the times, you will talk to somebody and you will say, would you date a poor person? Would you marry somebody that is financially struggling? And a lot of the time, someone that's super woke will say something like, well, money doesn't buy happiness. Money isn't the be all or the end all. There's more than money, which is true. but it's false at the same time, right? Let me explain. Guys, one of the major causes of divorce, I wouldn't say it's the leading, but it's the major, is financial issues, right? Guys, a lack of money causes a lot of hardship. How can you truly appreciate your loved ones when you're constantly surviving, when you're constantly trying to keep your head above water? How can you have a fulfilling and rich relationship when you constantly have to graft to pay those rent arrears? When you're constantly being hounded by debtors? How can you have those rich experiences when you're constantly in the rat race of wealth? Now, am I saying that an individual needs to be a multi-millionaire? No. Am I saying that an individual needs to drive a Lambo, needs to drive a Bentley, needs to have chains and golds and all this kind of... No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that an individual needs to understand that being in a secure financial situation will greatly increase the chances of your relationship working. Is that real? And anyone that tells you otherwise is a lie. At the end of the day, guys, have a good night's sleep with your woman. At the end of the day, ladies, have a good night's sleep with your man, knowing that your house is about to get repossessed. Guys, enjoy your evening with your family when there's no goddamn food in the fridge. I know we all hear these stories and you know, they all sound beautiful and they all sound lovely, but sometimes we have to come back down to earth, guys. Money is extremely, extremely important. All right, guys, what's the next one? Now, when we go through breakups a lot of the times, one way that people tend to comfort us is they tend to say, there's plenty of fish in the sea. There's plenty of fish in the sea. Don't worry, bro. There's enough gal out there. There's enough gal out there. Don't worry about her, man. Enough gal out there, man. And what I tend to say is that this is an extremely insensitive comment. Guys, when you're upset about a loss of a loved one, and when I say a loss, I don't mean a death. I mean, you know, the breakdown of a relationship, a breakup. What we have to understand is that to love, to be in love, to have a strong affection for somebody, to some degree makes you vulnerable. You have to open up to that person. You become emotionally intimate with that person. And for someone to run along and say, get over her or get over him, there's loads of other people, it's kind of invalidating the experiences or the emotions that you have for that individual. Because at the end of the day, guys, every relationship that we have, even though I will teach on this channel that to some degree they're the same, they are still very unique. And your relationship with that person is something that you may not get again. Now, I'm not going to go into if the relationship was toxic or if the relationship was positive. All I'm trying to say, guys, is that when your friend breaks up with somebody, instead of telling them to ignore their emotions and move on, try to sit back and think, man, you know, right now, he's probably thinking about all those beautiful times they had. He's probably thinking about all those times when they snuggled and they kissed and they shared their dreams together. And all that now is coming down crumbling. He's not thinking about another person at this moment in time. He's thinking about that person because that's the person that he emotionally made a bond with. So instead of just telling them to hush up, suck it up, move on and find a next gal, maybe I should allow them to process what's happening. Maybe I should allow them to, for the lack of the better word, come to realness with what's the reality of this breakup. One saying that always rubs me the wrong way is man up. And I hear this a lot. Man up. A man may go through a stint of depression, A man may go through a time when he's unsure about himself and he's told to man up. Now, guys, I'm not going to sit here and be this super woke guy on a camera talking about, we should be vulnerable at all times. I do believe there is a time for vulnerability, and I do believe there is a time to be strong, right? But many of the times when someone is told to man up, they're being told to man up in spaces where they're with their loved ones. They're being told to man up in spaces where they're with their boys, where they're with their fathers, where they're with their mothers, places where they should be allowed to be vulnerable. The whole point of community and society is not just to pump money in economically and get a big house and marry a beautiful woman. A part of it is emotional support. And when we tell a man to man up, when we tell a man that your emotions don't matter, you don't understand that you're adding to the dysfunctionality of society. Because now what's going to happen is this man is going to bottle up all those negative emotions and he's going to go out into the world. And guys, I guarantee you, these emotions will spill over somewhere in his life. He may resort to coping mechanisms, alcohol and drugs. He may become more aggressive. We need to allow men to have an outlet to express themselves. Because if we don't, we are kicking the can down the road. To be a man does not mean that you do not cry. To be a man does not mean that you always have to have, undoubtable strength at all times. And see, this is another thing that we have to discuss on this channel is what is masculinity. But that's a video for another day. I'm not really going to get into that right now. That's probably a whole series on its own. But guys, I appreciate you tuning in. I have one favor to ask before you log off, and that is a new channel, guys. Please subscribe, please show your boy some support, and please share. Maybe there's someone that needs to hear this video. And comment down below, guys, are there any other toxic traits that you feel we need to speak about? Because I just chose the four most popular. But there's more. There's more. So guys, thank you for tuning in. My name is Marco McDonald. And peace.